Next thing I hear, pop, 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 pop. And he's like, I've been shot.
Right now on News 13, Lakeview police have the sketch of a man who they think is a killer. You'll see that. Plus the first confirmed case of the Zika virus in South Carolina. Tonight, find out if DHEC thinks you are at risk. Plus find out what state lawmakers try to do to keep slow drivers out of the left lane.
News 13 at 11 starts now.
And a good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Megan's off. I'm Bob Chubak. First up, Lakeview police. They released a sketch today of a man who they say shot and killed another man 2 weeks ago and wounded the man's 14-year-old nephew. New at 11, News 13's Matt Parrish spoke with the family of the victim. They requested to not be on camera, but they want to be heard, and they hope that this sketch will help police find the killer.
It's just around the corner here on the night of April the 12th when the sounds of gunfire awoke this otherwise quiet street and ended the life of a beloved son, brother, and uncle. And now police and the family are hoping a sketch of the suspect will lead to some answers for this community still grieving for one of its own.
She said, my heart hurts.
The pain of loss is still fresh for those living on Shady Circle.
No parent wants to bury their child. It's always the other way around, they say.
It's only been a few weeks since Gerald McNeil, known as Nat to friends and family, was shot and killed in this home in Lakeview. A memorial now covers the spot where his sister Wanda says he took his final breaths.
I hear pop, 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 pop. Like the world going home.
Unfortunately, there have been few leads into who would do this to Nat while he was home with his family.
You should be able to get some kind of peace and rest at home.
That is, until now. A friend of Nat who was in the home when he died spoke to police, and this sketch was the result. Family members hope someone who knows something will come forward with information that could bring justice for Nat. Until then, they soldier on, grateful for their loved one's sacrifice for the family.
I feel like he died a hero because they could have came and killed all of us. They could have been about 12 bodies up in the morgue instead of one.
And hoping justice will bring some light to Shady Circle.
Every dark tunnel, there's a light shining.
Now, Wanda tells me her son, who was also injured by gunfire that night, is recovering well and is anxious to get back to school with his friends. And while his wounds are getting better, she says it's the emotional wounds that no earthly doctor, only time, can heal. In Lakeview, Matt Parrish, News 13.
And if you recognize the man in the sketch here or have any information on this case, get in touch with the Lakeview PD and you can take a lot longer look at the picture online at WBTW.com. Conway police arrested a Coastal Carolina football player who police say sexually assaulted a woman. That player is Ray Lewis III. He is the son of former All-Pro NFL linebacker by the same name, Ray Lewis. New at 11, Lewis's attorney responded to his client's charges. The attorney is Ed Garland from Atlanta, and he says, quote, Ray Lewis III states he is not guilty of any criminal conduct. He is not guilty because no crime was committed. The sex with the accuser was entirely consensual. At the time of the sexual encounter, the two girls involved were fully conscious of what they were doing and knowingly consented. We are confident that a thorough evaluation of the facts will show that there was no crime committed, end quote. News 13's Taylor Herlong has worked this story all day. And Taylor, what have you found?
I've been in contact with the spokesperson for CCU all day, trying to find out what's next for the football player. We found out Lewis was suspended from Coastal Carolina University's football team indefinitely, but we still don't know his status as a student at the university. CCU spokesperson Martha Hunn released this statement that reads in part, once CCU became aware of an incident, the university immediately began facilitating the administrative investigation, which includes requests to Conway Police Department for the police report and other information pertaining to this case. Hunn says they got the arrest warrant and the university is conducting its investigation. According to police reports, Lewis's arrest comes after two women, 18 and 19 years old, were treated at a local hospital on January 23rd for sexual assault at this apartment complex on Technology Boulevard near CCU's campus. Arrest warrants say Lewis sexually assaulted the 18-year-old while she was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Charges have not been filed in the accusation made by the 19-year-old, who claims Lewis sexually assaulted her at the same time as the other victim. Lewis turned himself into police, was booked at J. Reuben Long Detention Center, and then released on a $10,000 bond. His attorney says he's innocent on all charges. Sexual assault is a direct violation of the CCU Code of Conduct, And university policy states the accused student could face fines, dismissal from housing, or dismissal from the university. Now, statistics have not been released for 2015 yet, but in 2014, there were 12 reported rape cases on CCU's campus and 1 off campus. Just last month, we told you about a different case where 2 students were banned from CCU's campus after they were arrested for sexual assault. I'm working to find out if that will also be the case for Lewis, and as soon as I get those details, you'll get them right here on News 13. Reporting for News 13, I'm Taylor Herlong.
And News 13's also been pressing the university all day to see if security will be changed in any way, and also to see what plan of action, if any, the university will take to help prevent sexual assault. As of right now, we have not heard back. Well, when you drive, you obviously have to watch out for speeders, but sometimes you have to watch out for the super slow drivers as well. Some state lawmakers are trying, though, to do something about that. The House yesterday passed a bill aimed to slow down left-hand lane drivers. Tonight, News 13's Capitol Bureau Chief Robert Kittle shows you how the bill can make you safer and perhaps less irritated.
It's a law some drivers apparently don't know about, but it's already illegal to hold up traffic by driving too slow in the left lane.
It's a certain speed out there. You got 70 miles an hour and you got somebody doing 45 or 50, and they won't move over. So you got to go around them. That creates a problem for people that's in that lane.
They shouldn't be on the highway. And that's about it.
The South Carolina House just passed a bill that would require the DOT to put on their message boards that slower traffic must stay in the right lane. Charleston Representative Robert Brown is the sponsor of the bill. Have you run across that one?
Absolutely. Every time I drive from Charleston to Columbia, I run into that all the time. And I do get frustrated, but I contain mine because I'm a legislator.
But it's no laughing matter, and it's not just about making other drivers angry. Slow drivers in the left lane can be dangerous.
Traffic starts to build up, and then people are impatient, and then they're following too closely, and it only takes one vehicle to tap on their brakes, which causes a chain reaction and subsequently sometimes a multi-car collision.
The way the bill is written right now, the penalty for driving slowly in the left lane is a fine of up to $100 and 2 points on your license. But that could change when the bill gets over to the Senate. Sergeant Barris says troopers can enforce the minimum speed law without adding signs to remind drivers to move to the right. But those reminders would help and might prevent some of the problem. In Columbia, Robert Kittle, News 13.
The sponsor of the bill, Representative Brown, there says 2 issues still need to be straightened out. The first issue is the penalty. The second is if the boards are enough or if DOT needs permanent signs instead. Well, Zika has made its way to South Carolina. DHEC confirms the person got the virus traveling. However, it says by the time they got home, they weren't contagious. Due to patient confidentiality, DHEC will not release more details, not even what part of the state the person lives. Zika can make you sick, but usually that is not the biggest problem. The main problem is if you are pregnant, the virus can lead to birth defects. Horry County Police think they have another killer in custody as police wanted Alex Gordine for the killing of Tyrese Smalls. Smalls was found shot at a home in Socastee last month. Police already had these other 2 fellas, Jesse Roberts and Tevin Johnson, in custody on the same murder charges, and now they have Alex Gordine. And Florence police say this man assaulted a boy in the parking lot of New Spring Church on North Cashua Drive. Leo Commission is 20 years old. He's from Florence. Police say that he worked with the youth group there at New Spring. A 15-year-old boy told police that Commission kissed him and fondled him. Commission is charged with criminal sexual conduct with a minor in the 3rd degree. A registered sex offender is back in jail tonight as Surfside Beach police say the man exposed himself at a supermarket. That man is Clifton Trail. He's 54. Police say on April 18th they found Trail in the Piggly Wiggly parking lot with only a bathrobe on. Trail was convicted of indecent exposure back in August of 2014, and now he faces the same charge once again. Horry County Schools has agreed to let a transgender student use the boys' bathroom. The student was suspended, though, for doing that earlier in the school year. Then he was homeschooled. Horry County Board of Education Chair Joe DeFeo said the student can now use the bathroom of his gender identity. The Transgender Law Center sent an email to the district last week threatening legal action. The student's mother says that her son has been using the boys' bathroom since middle school. and there were never any issues until his senior year at Socastee High School. In a statement made through the Transgender Law Center, the student said, quote, "We're in school to learn, and we should be able to use the bathroom when we need to without worrying about a teacher following us or policing which bathroom we use," end quote. Getting back to the board chairman, Joe DeFeo, he says that the district's decision wasn't an entire change of policy. The school board plans to vote Monday on whether to address the issue anymore, and it may also decide to file court documents to support a school district up in Virginia that faces a debate that's similar to the one in Horry County. Coming up next on News 13, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton appear to shift their focus to the general election, but you'll find out why their opponents are saying not so fast.
A lot of warm weather today, a lot of sunshine as well, but there's a storm back to our west. They had severe weather across the plains today, and that unsettled weather is heading our way. I'll let you know if it's going to affect our weekend forecast coming up.
On to campaign 2016 right now, and Indiana's important presidential preference primary is only 4 days away, but Donald Trump spent his day in California. And as Danielle Nottingham reports, he was met with protest.
Hundreds of chanting protesters tried to storm the hotel where Donald Trump addressed the California Republican Convention Friday afternoon.
We don't want to erase this. Shut down Trump.
Some threw eggs, others burned the American flag.
Donald Trump has misused his political and media platform to really unearth hatred.
Police held the protesters back, but the crowd forced the GOP frontrunner to ditch his motorcade and take a detour on foot to get inside the building.
We went under a fence and through a fence and felt like I was crossing the border, actually.
Donald Trump told California Republicans he plans to win the GOP nomination and called for unity in the party.
Crooked Hillary, when I focus on Hillary, she'll go down easier than any of the people we just beat.
Trump's chief rival, Ted Cruz, is focused on Indiana, where he picked up Governor Mike Pence's endorsement.
Indiana will make a choice. What direction will this party go? What direction will this nation go?
Democrat Bernie Sanders joined union workers in Indianapolis to protest job cuts.
Stop destroying the middle class in America. Respect your workers.
Hillary Clinton pushed for the expansion of a network of all-boys public schools in high-crime areas during a New York City fundraiser. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Burlingame, California.
And getting back to Indiana, and 3 new Republican Indiana polls out just today. Cruz leads in 2, Trump leads in 1. In 2 Democratic polls in that state, it's Clinton by 8 points and also Clinton by 13 points on Sanders. Delta Airlines hopes to stop losing luggage, so it's going to start using baggage tags with radio frequency ID technology. That means you'll be able to track your luggage. If a bag, say, is placed on a wrong conveyor belt, a warning light will go off and that will stop the belt. Delta plans to install the technology at more than 80 airports. Well, Joey Meek, a friend of accused Charleston church shooter Dylan Roof, took a plea deal today. You'll find out what the state requires Meek to do next on News 13 at 11.
That it is his sincere hope that his guilty plea today is one step further in the healing process for the families and the friends of the victims of the AME church shooting.
Joey Meek, a friend of the accused Charleston church shooter Dylan Roof, pleaded guilty today to federal charges, and you just heard there from Meek's attorney. Meek admits that he knew about Roof's plans to shoot black people at Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, and then Meek lied about it to federal investigators. Rebecca Collette joins us from Charleston with more on why Meek lied.
Good evening. Meek now faces up to 8 years in jail after this guilty plea today. In federal court, he admitted knowing about Roof's plan a week before the deadly shooting. He said Roof scouted the church for 6 months. Meek admitted he lied to the FBI when questioned in the days following the shooting. In this plea agreement, Meek is subject to a polygraph test and will testify against his friend Dylan Roof.
He's very young. He has a limited education. When these unspeakable acts were committed, he was very scared. He was in shock. And today, Mr. Meek made no excuses for his conduct.
Following the hearing, Meek's attorney gave a statement.
Mr. Meek understands that every court proceeding in this matter brings the families back to that horrid day of June 17th, 2015. He knows that their grief is unimaginable. and he lives each day of his life with a great deal of sorrow and remorse for that.
Joey Meek will remain out on bond until his sentencing. So far, a date for sentencing hasn't been set. Downtown Charleston tonight, Rebecca Collette.
The plea deal requires Meek help the government with its case against Roof, and also Meek could get a break on his own possible 8-year sentence when he does so. Roof is charged with 9 counts of murder in state court, plus he faces hate crimes and other charges in federal court. State prosecutors, though, seek the death penalty against Dylan Roof. Frank's here right now. And Frank, how does the weekend forecast look?
It's looking pretty nice. We're going to have to watch for some thunderstorms, especially by Sunday. I'll have more on that forecast coming up next.
And now, here's your Storm Tracker 13 forecast.
Another severe weather outbreak today across the southern plains. They did have tornado watches in effect earlier across Oklahoma, Texas. Still looking at severe storms east of Dallas, approaching Shreveport and Little Rock right now. This is another storm system that will be weakening as it heads our way. So while we are expecting some of that rain, especially by Sunday, not going to see the violent weather that they've seen out west. For tonight, we are mainly clear. A few high-level clouds rolling in, partly cloudy late night tonight, and this rain here moving into Georgia is falling apart, so I'm not expecting any of that. Our forecast showing the partly cloudy sky overnight tonight, some low-level clouds, even a little patchy fog developing. Not going to see any rain. We'll stay dry overnight tonight, and tomorrow we'll see a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Late in the afternoon, toward the evening hours, there's a chance for a few thunderstorms west of I-95, but most of us will stay dry tomorrow. Our headlines for tonight: it'll stay warm this weekend with temperatures in the 80s, mainly dry tomorrow, the exception being west of I-95, and then scattered storms area-wide on Sunday. They will be scattered, so it's not going to rain all day long, and some spots will miss out on the rain, but we will see that chance for some thunderstorms around at the end of the weekend. Tomorrow in Florence, hour by hour, it'll warm up quickly into the 80s by lunchtime, mid-80s for our afternoon temperatures. Slight chance for a thunderstorm west of I-95, so that does include the Florence area, but more likely further west. And in Myrtle Beach tomorrow, it'll likely stay dry with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Temperatures in the 70s to around 80 degrees. Our forecast showing that front that came through today will be lifting northward tomorrow, bringing back the humidity. That'll give us the chance for a few of those storms out west, but the better chance for thunderstorms will be on Sunday. It'll be warm and humid, scattered storms developing as this next storm system gets a little closer, and this is going to hang out in our area Monday and Tuesday as well, so those rain chances will continue into next week. For tonight, partly cloudy, pretty mild overnight tonight. Temperatures will be in the low to middle 60s for our overnight lows, so it'll stay pretty warm. Winds will stay on the light side as well. For tomorrow, we'll see a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Another warm day with temperatures in the upper 70s to around 80 at the coast, low to middle 80s inland areas. 3-degree guarantee for tomorrow. Marion's forecast 90 degrees. If I can get that right within 3 degrees, Glassboro will donate another $100 to the PD Land Trust. At the beaches for tomorrow, we'll have a southeast wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour, waves 2 to 3 feet, and our surf temperatures at 69 degrees. 7-day forecast looking nice for the weekend. We'll have to watch out for those thunderstorms around on Sunday. That rain chance will continue Monday and Tuesday as well. Could see some stronger thunderstorms around on Tuesday. That's with a stronger cold front that will knock our temperatures into the 70s for the second half of next week. And after we dry out on Wednesday, we should stay dry for the Thursday and Friday.
Well, tomorrow is April the 30th. It's the last day of April, but have you heard it's also International Jazz Day? Also, the Rascals, they had 3 #1 hits. Their first was Good Lovin'. That hit #1 50 years ago tomorrow. And Cloris Leachman has the record for the most primetime acting Emmys. She had 8, and she will be 90 tomorrow. Let's go to Sunday. The first Sunday in May is always World Laughter Day. Also, Amtrak was founded 45 years ago Sunday. And State Representative Grady Brown out of Bishopville, he'll be 72. He's been in the House for 31 years. And Monday is Brothers and Sisters Day. Also, British singer Sheena Easton. She's had some big hits, but by far the #1 hit of hers was her only #1. That was Morning Train. That hit #1 35 years ago Monday. And actor and former wrestler Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will be 44. Since 6 tonight, a crushing defeat for Gamecock baseball. You'll see what happened in Columbia, and you'll also see what other Clemson Tigers got drafted tonight by NFL teams. All next in Conan Sports.
And now, Conan Gasquet from the Carolina Honda Dealers Sports Desk.
The first round of the NFL draft was not as Clemson heavy as many thought it might be, but the Tigers made up for that tonight in the second round. 3 former Clemson stars were taken tonight. Kevin Dodd, the first of those. Tennessee chose him 33rd. He boosted his stock in the college football playoff, had 8 tackles for a loss in those 2 games. He was the second Tiger defensive end taken in this draft. The next Tiger taken tonight, Mackenzie Alexander. Minnesota chose him 2nd round, 54th overall, so another defensive star. He was so good at corner, most teams just avoided him last year, which kind of hurt his stats, but not his star power. He was a second-team All-American, did not surrender a single touchdown for 23 consecutive games. Finally, T.J. Green, another defensive back. He went to Indianapolis. His stock rose big time before the draft. Many thought he'd be a late-round pick. The Colts really liked what they saw. They picked him in the 2nd round, 57th overall. The Carolina Panthers had some needs at cornerback. They filled those with 2 picks tonight. James Bradbury in the 2nd round, Darrell Worley in the 3rd. The Panthers hope to fill the void left by Josh Norman's departure with these 2 picks. South Carolina is the top baseball team in SEC play so far this year, but they're not the top team in America. Florida ranks number 1 in all 6 major polls, so if the Gamecocks want that spot, they'll have to take it from the Gators. Florida visiting Columbia this weekend. They put Logan Shore on the hill in Game 1. He's won 13 straight coming in, but Mr. Alex Destino is not very impressed. Bottom 1, he sends one packing to right field, a 2-run bomb. Carolina up 2-0 just like that. 4 innings later, Shore still on the mound, and Carolina still swinging. Chris Cullen this time. Freshman goes off the top of the wall, his first blast of the year. Gamecocks up 3-0, but the long ball giveth, and the long ball taketh away. Bottom 9, they lead 4-3, trying to close things out when Jonathan India strikes. A one-way ticket to left field, game tied at 4, so maybe extra innings for the Gamecocks, or maybe not. With 2 outs now, Nick Horvath comes through, 2nd homer of the inning. Florida takes the lead and hangs on. A heartbreaking loss in the series opener for South Carolina. Not many teams are hotter than Coastal right now. They opened a big set at Georgia Tech tonight. Scoreless bottom 3, and Billy Cook goes all out to keep it that way. How about this? Diving catch on the warning track. He makes the grab, and the game stays scoreless. But a missed catch pretty much nullifies that later on. Same inning, Connor Owings out there, can't catch the Kel Johnson fly ball. That allows 2 runs to score, and the Jackets lead 3-0. So Coastal's got the battle back, and G.K. Young gets the job done. Top of the 5th, an RBI single. Shauna clears pull within 4-1. But Tech answers big in the bottom half of the inning. Bases loaded for Brant Stallings, and he unloads them. A grand slam to left field. Georgia Tech wins 9-1, just the 2nd loss in 13 games for Coastal Carolina. Another big series opens tomorrow. Clemson at Florida State. Tigers coming off a series loss to Georgia Tech. They could bounce back, get big against the Seminoles. They made some changes Saturday and Sunday because of weather, so this is the updated schedule that you're looking at. They will start tomorrow at 1 in Tallahassee. The Class 3A baseball playoffs got underway tonight, and they started with some big-time drama in Darlington. Falcons hosting Myrtle Beach. The pitchers dominate this one early. 2nd inning, Brian Huggins. Nice little breaking ball by Jace Allen. That ends the inning. Myrtle Beach's Cameron Bodge also looking good. Bottom 2, he gets Huggins on the outside corner. The game stays scoreless into the 4th inning, but that's when Myrtle gets going. Davis Goodrow lines a base hit to left. It brings in Jackson Thomas. Seahawks up 1-0. They build a 4-0 lead, but Darlington comes back, forces extra innings, and Justin Mack finishes it off. A bases-loaded single. Darlington walks it off against the Seahawks, a 5-4 comeback win in their playoff opener. Softball now, the Falcons opened with St. James tonight. They fell behind early. 1st inning, Alyssa Ayala lines one down the 3rd baseline. Kelsey Bachman comes around to score. Sharks take a 1-0 lead, but the Falcons bounce right back. Bottom 2, Daisha Turner line out to short. The throw to second gets away. And how about that? The Falcons plate one anyway. It's Chloe Hicks hustling around. That ties the game at 1. Same inning, still tied. Haley Clark comes up, pops one up. It drops in. Lily Bombach comes around to score. Darlington takes the lead, and they go on to take the win. 5-4 the final. They advance to the winner's bracket. To the NBA now, the Charlotte Hornets unable to close out Miami tonight. They lost 97-90. Could have wrapped up the series at home. Instead, they'll have to go back to Miami, play a Game 7. That'll be Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. And let's hope it's not as heartbreaking for them as it was for South Carolina tonight. That's about as tough as it gets. They led for pretty much the entire game until the 9th inning, and then 2 home runs for the Gators.
Reagan's been giving up a lot of home runs lately.
He really has, and you can't mess around with Florida. They are #1 in the nation for a reason. They're a very good baseball team.
All right. Thanks, Con and Frank.
Weekend forecast looking pretty nice. It'll stay warm in the 80s. Slight chance for a thunderstorm west of I-95 tomorrow. Better chance for scattered storms around on Sunday. But even then, it's not going to rain all day long on Sunday.
All right. Thank you, Frank, and thank you for watching tonight. Remember all your news, weather, and sports all the time at WBTW.com.
Also Facebook and Twitter.
Have a great night. Keep it right here on WBTW.